It is SNL, the Sunday Night League, and you know what that means. It's Formula X, round number 4 of Season 9 here at Watkins Glen. It is the penultimate round of the championship. That means the last but one in this 5-race season. And let's have a look at the grid set by a one-lap qualifying session, where it is all or nothing. And in pole position, his first ever pole position in Formula X, is Yax. He is currently in 5th place in the championship with 46 points. He is 25 points off the championship leader, and he qualified on softs, and he's got softs throughout the race. So he is on pole. As you can see, it is a Mercedes front row with Yax's teammate Jam in 2nd place. Jam is currently 9th in the championship with 26 points. He qualified on softs, and he has soft, and medium for the race. 3 compounds are picked by each driver, but they do not have to use all of them. In 3rd place, his best qualifying session of the season, is Slender Fella, currently 12th in the championship with 22 points. He's in the Red Bull, and he qualified on softs. He's got soft, medium, and hards for this race. In 3rd. In 4th place, another best qualifying session of the season for a driver. That is Leonardo in his first season of Formula X. The Greek driver is driving for Ferrari. He has 26 points in that 10th place. And he qualified on softs, and he has medium, hards, and hards for this race. In 5th place is the championship leader, Ajax, in the McLaren. He has 71 points, and he's 4 points ahead of his closest rival. He qualified on the mediums, and he has softs, and hards for this race. In 6th place, another championship campaigner. It's Ragimus Prime, 59 points. He has 12 points behind Ajax, and he qualified on the mediums as well. He uses the mediums, hards, and hards in this race. In 7th place on the grid is Matt Psycho. He's had a win this season at round number 2. He's currently 7th in the championship with 32 points. And he qualified on the hard tyres, and he has mediums and hards for the race. In 8th place on the grid is the other Williams of Bondimus Prime. The Primes are loaded here, and he's 14th in the championship with 13 points. He qualified on medium tyres, and he's softs, mediums, and hards for the race. In 9th place on the grid, it is the other Red Bull of the Punisher. He qualified on the medium tyres. He has 16 points and is 13th in the championship. He has soft, medium, and hards for this race. And making the top 10 is the defending champion, Gasman, in the Ferrari. He's 2nd in the championship with 67 points, 4 points behind Ajax, who leads in the McLaren. And he qualified on hard tyres. He has medium, hards, and hards for the race. In 11th place is Cherry in the Lotus, top Lotus on the grid. He qualified on hards. He's got soft, mediums, and hards for this race as well. He's currently 11th in the championship after having some Fanatec issues at Monza. I'm sure he would have been higher if that had not been the case. In 12th place, it's Aloe, who is currently in 8th place in the championship with 32 points. Aloe in the Renault. He has mediums, softs, and mediums for the race. So mediums is what he qualified on. He's joined in 13th place by his new teammate for the final 2 rounds. We welcome back Daz in the Renault. Daz has not been seen for a little bit of time, and he qualified on the medium tyres. Forgot to use overtake during the qualifying lap, so was a lot slower than he would have wanted. Soft, and mediums as well for both of the Renaults this evening. In 14th place is Mr. Smith in the Tyrrell. He qualified on the hard tyres. He had softs, and hards for the race, and he's currently 15th in the championship with 9 points. And finally on the grid, we have Bunnies in the Lotus. He had a problem with his connection in qualifying, so qualifies last, as he was unable to set a time. He was going to use the mediums, and he's on soft, mediums, and mediums for the race. And the final slot of the grid would have been Ben. However, he is not here due to issues so could not join us late on last night. But we have 15 cars on this grid at Watkins Glen. The two Mercedes are on the front row. I think that's the first time we've ever seen that in Formula X. So we have 32 laps of this Watkins Glen long course. Very fast circuit, very tight. Let's see what happens during those laps at Watkins Glen for round number 4 of this Season 9 of Formula X. It is Yax on pole then, with Jam in second, Slenderfella third. We've got 4 lights, 5 lights, and it is a long hold, and it's go here. Yax not having the best of starts, actually. Jam nearly getting up ahead of his teammate. Slenderfella right behind the Mercedes as Ajax goes into turn 1, but the Mercedes take each other wide, and that means Ajax goes into the lead, and he's straight on the overtake. He's used a quarter of it already. Jam in second place ahead of Yax. So the two Mercedes leading them up through the S's. As it stands, you can see them fighting hard. Between them all, there is Jam in second place. He's got the inside line into turn. Oh, he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall into the chicane. He's off the circuit. He's in the air. Oh, my word. Jam is off. Jam has gone off. Leonardo, I think, had a flying Mercedes up ahead of him. There goes Jam as we join the jittery Leonardo. And there goes the flying Mercedes right across the front of him. And Leonardo has got damage, and that means Slenderfella gets up into second place. A great start for Slenderfella, and Bondimus as well, fourth. Up the inside of Yax. Yax not having the great start then from pole position, with Matt Psycho sixth, Ragemus in seventh. Then we have Bunnies all the way up into eighth place already. Can't see it all, but there was chaos behind. The Punisher in 10th place, Gazman down to 11th, Daz 12th, Mr. Smith 13th, Morcherry in 14th, and there is Jam after an unbelievably spectacular start to this race. Ajax then leading in the McLaren with Slenderfella in second. Leonardo on the overtake because he feels the pressure from Bondimus as they go through to turn number 8, the heel, as he loses positions to Matt Psycho and Yax. Yax is ahead now. Matt Psycho goes up into 5th place on board with the Tyrrell driver. He is currently on the medium tyre, as opposed to some rivals, I suspect. Well, Yax must be on the softs, because he's only got softs to race in this session. The Punisher looking for a move on Bondimus into turn 1. That would be brave. There's not much of a braking zone into that corner, although you have to shift down to 4th gear, but he's got a good run on the exit, and he'll make the move through turn number 2 into the S's. He's on the outside for turn 3, but turn 4 will have the inside line as they go up towards the chicane. Nice American flag helmet this time from the Punisher. As we go to the chicane, this is where the chaos happened in lap 1 for Jam, but nothing doing for the Punisher. Nice and calm for him through the S's. But at the front of the field, it is Ajax. He's got nearly a 1.5 second lead, possibly over Slenderfella. Slenderfella in the Red Bull. He's had a quiet season, but we've seen him up there before. Leonardo in 3rd place, impressive in his opening season, although the lag is really spiky this evening. Yax in 4th, with Matt Psycho closely behind him, about a second between those drivers. Bondimus, he had an impressive run at Monza, where he nearly got the podium. He ran out of fuel on the last lap, and that robbed him of the glory. But he's currently in 6th, with the Punisher tracking him down, and Ragemus on the medium tyres behind the Punisher. Daz is up to 9th place on his return to SNL. Buddies is 10th, with his teammate Morcherry just behind him. Team Lotus cars going through turn 1. Line astern. Then we have Gazman down in 12th. So Gazman not having the best of starts. He is on the hard tyres though, so he's going long, it would seem. Aloe is in 13th. He's all over the back of Gazman. Are we going to see a move into the S's? Into the chicane. No, he bump drafts, but nothing doing. It's such a difficult place to follow other drivers, the chicane. Jam is in 14th place. after his opening lap skirmishes, and Mr. Smith is in 15th, but the front of the field is where we see Ajax, and he's setting faster times. But Slender Fella on the soft tyres is running well. Now, last time out we saw Ajax using the medium tyres all the way through the race. He's not going to do that this evening because he's got the softs to start the race off. So Ajax about half a second up on his best time as he comes through turn 10. Towards the end of the lap now. Turn 11 is so tight and tricky. It always wants you to go a little bit faster than you can. It always wills you along, but Slender Fella keeping the pressure on. Yacht, in fact, has got past Leonardo. So Leonardo has a 27. Yacht into third then after the start. Being taken wide by his teammate. Not the start Mercedes would have wanted at all to the race, and then Jam flying through the air as we saw Matt Psycho on the overtake slightly, but not close enough. Let's see behind, we can see the Punisher. He's got a little bit of pressure from Ragemus. Those two Williams are always close together, it would seem. Let's go on board with Ragemus. Nothing doing. American flag on the top of Ragemus's helmet as well. He's one that does new helmets, it seems, for the race. Brazilian one for Interlagos for the final round. He's under pressure though from Daz. The first time Daz and Ragemus have raced, I think. Daz there as we see up ahead. Oh, Leonardo's made a mistake, it would seem. Oh, he's gone off. So he went off into the toe, turn 7. This exit just spat him off, and then he lost control, hit the wall, and then loses all his momentum. Everybody else will shoot past him. The Punisher going past as we see everyone behind really close up as Daz then gets the advantage. He's on the overtake, trying to go around the outside. Will he do it? No, because Ragemus is up into 7th place as they all fight and squabble. Oh no, Daz and Bunnies, that is. Bunny's going slow, so let's go on board with Bunnies as we see the cars up ahead. They're all fighting for that position. They're all fighting for 7th with Leonardo. And Daz, oh, Bunnies was there. And there we have it. So Bunnies will have to wait for Daz. That is what happens here in SNL. If you make a collision, you have to redress it. And that definitely looked like it was Bunnies poking his nose up the inside of Daz. So they re-establish themselves into this fight. But at the front of the field, it's Ajax. He's got quite a comfortable gap between himself and Slenderfella. It is stabilising. And Ajax, in fact, going purple in Sector 1. So nicely through the S's, not hitting the curbs too hard and unstabilising the car. Slenderfella on the overtake. He's deciding to attack this lap. They've got a little bit of a gap of about 2.5-3 seconds between themselves and Yacht. You can see the Mercedes coming out of turn number 6 and into turn 7, the toe. Up the hill of the boot they go. So let's see what is going on with the battles. Further down the field, we can see Ragemus all over the back of the Punisher. He's got a good run into the toe. On board with the Williams driver. Will he have a go into turn number 9? Not quite. He is showing the Punisher that he is there, though. Mama Sykes is in the chat saying, "Hi, Jam." Hello, Mama Sykes. I hope you're enjoying your dinner with this SNL broadcast live here in the UK on a Monday. Ragemus then into turn 1. Will he make the move? It looks good. And nicely done. Can he keep it within the lines? Yes, he does. So the Punisher now is in more Cherry's grasp. Mama Sykes is hoping for some good racing. Well, it's SNL, Mama Sykes. We always have good racing here. As we can see right now, we've got a great battle between Ragemus, the Punisher, and more Cherry. The Punisher holding 6th place, but he's having to work hard for it. Oh, where has he gone? Oh, that was weird. The Punisher's run wide. Sorry, something went wrong there. The Punisher, he hit the grass and ran wide. Oh, and lost all the momentum. That drops him down to 9th place. Gasman in 10th, now up into 9th as he goes round the outside of the chute. Ooh, nicely done by Gasman. So Gasman up into 9th, the Punisher 10th, Aloe is 11th, Jam is there in 12th. So Jam, after his skirmish at the beginning of the race, is there. We see Bunnies and Daz. They must have had another issue because they've both set very slow times on lap 5. So going back to the front of the grid, and Ajax is pulling away. Let's see, a 25.6 compared to a 26.5, so a second pulled out on that lap by Ajax. Yax is putting the pressure on Slenderfella ahead. So Yax in 3rd. Matt Psycho's 4th place, quietly going about his business on the medium tyres. So he'll be happy about that. Bondamus in 5th, going up the hill through the S's, as Ragemus also follows his teammate. He's got more Cherry behind him, and Leonardo now in 8th. His teammates just in the background of 2nd behind. The Las Vegas Grand Prix livery from 2023 for those Ferraris. Having a very competitive season. Jam flying through there, I think. Yes. So going into the chicane, you can see Aloe is in 11th place. He's on the outside and Jam just follows through. So Jam following through into 11th place. Ahead of him is the Punisher. So the next driver on Jam's list is the Punisher. He's keeping it close. At the front, Ajax in 1st place though. He's got a good gap, and in fact, Yax is closing the gap on the Red Bull. The soft tyres starting to wear out. See what the gap between the Punisher and Jam is. It's very close as they go into the toe. But nothing doing on this lap, it would seem. As Jam runs wide, so Jam running wide, having to get onto the overtake to defend the position against Aloe. Yes, he holds the place on board with Aloe through the final corner. So Aloe keeping the pressure on the Mercedes. The front of the field, Slenderfella is having to defend against Yax as they go towards the chicane. Will Yax make the move? No, he can't do it. The Slenderfella gets the position, holds the place. It's very tricky to do that on board with Yax in 3rd place. His debut season in Formula X, he has had a podium already this season. He's currently in 5th in the championship. Looking to win here today because he's got full softs on his car, gone very attacking. He's unable to join us for Interlagos, so he's using that as his motivation to leave the season on a high. But it's Ajax right now in that McLaren, running very well, keeping it all together. Let's have a look. There's the Punisher. He's got Jam on the inside of him. Jam makes the move into the toe, and up into 10th place goes Jam. Can Aloe follow Jam? And he does. Turn 10, Aloe making the move through turn 9, should I say. So the Renault following the Mercedes through. So Jam now into 10th place after the early moments. More Cherry, just about a second away from Ragemus. So the drivers are about a second away from each other at this circuit. It is very hard to follow other drivers closely here at Watkins Glen. But no issues for Ajax. He's leading the field all on his own. He's got nobody in his way. 26.9 on the previous lap, 26.7 for Yax. So the soft tyres are wearing out. 27.0. And a 26.3 for Matt Psycho. So Matt Psycho actually, the race coming back to the medium runners. Bondimus as well, 26.4. And a 25.3 for Ragemus. Considering the fastest lap is a 24.7, that is very fast from Ragemus. You can see the marbles starting to form at turn number 9 on the outside. If you get onto those, you will be sucked into the abyss. Leonardo currently in 8th. Don't worry about his odd lines. It is his connection. It seems to be a driver that just can't get the connection. Gasman in 9th place sets his fastest lap of the race on the hards. So he's chasing his teammate who's on the mediums. Jam did a 25.1 on his last lap, 25.5 for Aloe, and a 28.7 for the Punisher. But you can see the Punisher having issues with his tyres, as behind we can see Bunny is making his stop. So Bunny's stopping at the end of lap number 9. So he had soft tyres on. He's got mediums for the rest of the race. So Mr. Smith on the hards is currently in 15th place. So Ajax leads the field. He's got a nice gap between himself and Yax. It's about 4 seconds. Yeah, about 4 seconds between the two drivers, as Ajax is setting a nice lap time, in fact. As the fuel starts to burn down. On similar fuel loads, Matt Psycho's up into 3rd place. How did that happen? Slenderfella up ahead. Slenderfella's run out of tyres. So Slenderfella left front tyre is completely worn as he struggles through the toe. He heads to the heel, turn 8, and he just runs wide. That means Matt Psycho can get the opportunity to make the move into turn 9, and he does go up the inside, as Slenderfella has to run wide onto the marbles as well, so it slows him further into the clutches of Bondimus. And we can see the two Williams drivers, 5th and 6th, fighting. Mama Sykes in the chat saying, nice Matthew. Ragemus is up into 5th place now, as his teammate lets him into 4th into turn 1. Nice driving from the Williams pair. So they've kept themselves going forwards, as we saw Slenderfella dropping down into the pits. More Cherry, though, is on the back of these two Williams. They have to be careful because he's got the toe. Can he make the move into the chicane? It'll be a brave one. Up onto the inside. Nicely done. Another driver with an American theme, it would seem, on his helmet. Yes, it is. Sort of Sebastian Vettel-like. The stars appearing. And a nice move done by Morcherry. Up to 5th now, the Lotus driver. Bondimus, he is flashing with fuel. He's got Leonardo behind him. Leonardo might be able to do another lap, as will Gasman. Jam starts flashing with fuel. He's just set the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:24.6. Aloe in 10th. So that top 10, very close together. Where did the Punisher, sorry, Slenderfella feed out? He fed out in 11th place. So quite a gap between him and Aloe. The Punisher also has made a stop on medium tyres. Bunnies has stopped as he is overtaken by Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, though, running off the circuit, getting a bit excited through the chicane. Daz has made a pit stop as well. He's down in 15th place. As we see drivers at the front of the field now stopping. Matt Psycho, Bondimus, Leonardo, Jam in the pits. They are all pitting for tyres, it would seem. Let's see. Matt Psycho looks like he's got new ones on. Bondimus looks like he's jumped Matt Psycho, though. So Bondimus leaving the pits. Aloe then up into 6th place as everyone starts stopping. Ajax coming towards the end of the lap. He's on the back straight. Sorry, not the back straight. He's on the boot. As a yellow flag is waving. Who was that? That's Daz. Has had an issue going into the heel. just run wide. Yes, he did. He clipped the curb, and this car has thrown him away. Let's have a look then. Bondimus did leap Matt Psycho, and he's all over the back of Leonardo. He did not change tyres, so he's made his pit stop. He's got Leonardo ahead of him, who didn't change either. So they're fighting each other out of the pit lane. So Leonardo had a great stop as they fight each other, and Leonardo just gets himself still ahead. Bondimus having to back out of it. He's got a bit of damage. As at the front of the field, Ajax now stops. So the McLaren is in the pits. So is Yax. Does Yax change tyres? Yes, he does. No option there for him to change tyres on that one. Ragimus in the pits, as well as Morcherry pits and Gasman pits as well. So Leonardo, will he inherit the lead? No, he's too far back, I suspect, because he wasn't racing these drivers. Aloy in the pits then, as the really slow pit lane. And hasn't changed his tyres, Ajax. So Ajax comes out of the pit. He hasn't changed, whilst Yax has. That will gain Ajax 4 seconds over the driver that was in second place. But Ragimus has jumped them. He has not changed tyres. He's up into second, and Morcherry's up into third because he did not change. So Yax fully fueled and a tyre change, losing a lot of positions. Leonardo up into 5th place now. Gasman is in 6th, as we see behind. Matt Psycho is all over the back of Bondimus. Bondimus on the overtake in the Williams as Matt Psycho puts the pressure on. He's on overtake as they go towards the chicane, and they feed through there. Gasman in 6th, Bondimus 7th. He's got Matt Psycho pushing him hard though, through to turn number 6 down the chute. And does Matt Psycho go around the outside? He had a look, he was on the overtake, but nothing doing, the Williams driver. Bondimus Prime holding the prime position of 7th place, which also is a prime number. There you go, maths fans. Ragimus is also in a prime number position, the number 2. There we go. Ajax then, 1st place, all on his own. He's got a massive lead. It's huge. What is the gap between him and the rest of the field? The rest of the field are just crossing the line now. It's 14 seconds. Ajax is absolutely miles ahead. So Ragimus is in 2nd place, but nowhere near the race leader. Yax on the attack now against Morcherry. The Lotus driver will feel the pressure. The overtake being deployed by Yax around the outside of turn 4 as they go towards the chicane. He's ahead. He sets a purple lap time through the 1st sector. Dom in the chat. Cinnamod. Jam with a nice bit of purple. He's got the sunglasses on. Yes. Currently Jam has the fastest lap of the race, set on the medium tyres at the end of the stint. Leonardo 5th place, Gasman in 6th, Bondimus 7th. He's shaken off Matt Psycho actually. Matt Psycho on the mediums, a fresh set. Jam running a bit wide and pushing on. Slender Fella in 10th place has got the attention of Aloy. So Aloy in 11th place. Aloy keeping the pressure on Slenderfella. Slenderfella was up in 2nd place early on in the race. He's down to 10th with an early pit stop. But the fields are very tightly matched up to 2nd place, whilst Ajax just runs away from them. He's about 13 seconds ahead as Yax now takes the fastest lap away from his teammate. 24.3 on the last lap. He's on the slipstream going into the chicane. So Yax is there pushing 3rd place. Williams of Ragimus having a very good 2nd season. We often see that a debut season you get your feet. The second season is where you start finding that confidence to push. And Ragemus definitely finding it in season number 2 in the Williams. He's been battling at the sharp end of this field all season long. Morcherry as well, debut season, but he's having strong race here. 4th place, 2, same as Yax. In fact, 3 debutants, 3rd, 4th and 5th in this race as Leonardo hits the wall, or doesn't hit it because he didn't have any damage. We're on board with his teammate Gazman, looking at the back of Leonardo. No team orders at Ferrari this season. We've seen them fighting before. As Leonardo has a bit of a disadvantage through out of turn 1, and Gazman goes up the inside of turn 3 and 4, and he's got himself 5th place, although Leonardo looking like he's having a look. No. Gazman pulling away now from his teammate. Leonardo 6th, then Matt Psycho 7th, and Jam is 8th. They've got past Bondimus, it would seem, on the last lap. Bondimus set at 28.3 compared to those ahead of him. 25.3 for Slenderfella, with Aloe there in 11th. Bunny's a very quiet race for him. He's still down in 12th place, having issues in this race. Lap times are not looking too bad on the medium tyres. He's just had a few incidents at the start of the race. Punisher 13th now. He's had a few slower laps as he's on the medium tyres. Mr. Smith is ahead of Daz. So Daz in 15th. His return to SNL not maybe going the way he wished. But there, Yax is in 2nd place now because he's overtaken Ragemus. He didn't see it on the screen. And now Morcherry is the next driver, trying to line up Ragemus's Williams, but Yax pushing hard, 24.7 compared to a 26.5 for Ajax. So Ajax losing time now. The gap just between him and Yax is about 12 seconds, so we'll start seeing that drop down very, very quickly if those pace differentials continue like they are. Cherry Bomb is pushing hard there. That Psycho, he's got Jam pushing behind him. So going through turn number 7, the toe. Jam trying to keep himself in the zone. Slenderfella in 9th place. He's got ahead of Bondimus. Bondimus is having one of those couple of laps. He's lost the momentum and he's dropping down a little bit. So what happens in SNL, his tyres are starting to look worn. He hadn't changed them at the pit stop. Should he have changed them? He's got another set of softs to run at the end of the race, I would suspect. He's got to take those mediums quite a long way then. Still, Aloe in 11th place. Bunny's in 12th, 24.6 for Bunny's on the last lap. 24.7, so he's on the pace of the leaders. He's just down in 12th. The Punisher in 13th place. He's on mediums at 26.2 for him. So he's lapping faster than the race leader. So the driver down in 13th place is lapping faster than the race leader. 26.6 for Ajax, 25.1. So 1.6 seconds taken out, or 1.5 seconds taken out by Yax on the previous lap. Mercedes driver pushing hard as Cherry Bomb has got past. Let's just have a little look. Gone back a bit further. It looks like this was out of turn 4. And he's on the overtake. And there's nothing that Ragemus could do about that one. Cherry Bomb up into 3rd place. So Yax 2nd. Cherry Bomb. More Cherry in 3rd. Ragemus, though, pushing hard. His medium tyres are also looking worn out. Leonardo in 6th. Matt Psycho 7th. Jam is there in 8th. Tyres are starting to wear out. Slender fella in 9th. It is very tight, very congested here in the midfield from about 3rd place to 9th. In fact, 10th and 11th, as we can see, Lowy on board with the Renault. Will he get on the overtake? He will. Down on the boot towards the heel, and it's heel and toe as Lowy takes 10th. Bondemus down to 11th. Those tyres looking worn out. He's got a few more laps to go, I would suspect, based on what the tyres can do. Bunnies, though, oh, nearly lost it. Nearly lost it out of turn number 9. So Bunnies pushing hard. Punish for 13th. Daz now 14th place. Mr. Smith in 15th place has just done a pit stop. So Ajax has cleared him. That gap. Oh, gap about 10 seconds. As Ajax comes through the toe and up the boot. So Yax is going to have a bit of traffic on this lap. Cherry Bomb 3rd place. Gazman's got himself up into 4th. So Gazman's got ahead of Ragimus. 27.9 for Ragimus. Gazman up into 4th place, the Ferrari driver, defending champion. Up into 4th, continuing his great season. Leonardo in 6th place. Then we have Matt Psycho in 7th. Jam is in 8th. His tyre's not looking too happy as it stands. As he goes and pulls off. So Jam has pulled off and has left the session. So Jam has left the session. After all the action, Jam has left. Now the reason for that was Jam was having issues with his eyes, becoming blurry when racing with other drivers. And I can report now that even watching this, eyes are stinging a little bit. I wonder if I've got a bit of dry eye. I had a procedure in September and it does seem to have affected my vision. So I wonder if I just need to put some eye drops in before racing. Because as I say, they are a bit stingy right now. So Gazman in 4th place. That was the reason for the crash as well in the first lap. Went blurry, turned in where I thought the corner was, and it wasn't, it was a wall. And then just had to keep the accelerator on because I didn't want to start braking when everyone else is just attacking from behind. Ragemus in 5th. He's having a good race. Leonardo in 6th. In 1st place though, Ajax into the pits, and he is changing tyres. It'll be a new set of softs for the McLaren driver as the Mercedes takes the lead. So Yax takes the lead. Cherry Bomb is in 2nd place in the Lotus. Leonardo 3rd. It's more Cherry. I keep calling him Cherry Bomb because that's what it says on the screen, but it's more Cherry in the Lotus. Having a good debut season in that team. Leonardo then. We've also lost another driver. So who else have we lost? Matt Psycho 5th. 5th is Slenderfella. Aloe is 6th. And 7th is the Punisher. Ajax is 8th after that stop. So Ajax coming out in 8th. Gazman is up into 9th. So he has got himself still ahead of Ragemus. Ragemus on the hard tyres. The end of this race. Dax is in 11th. Bondemus in the pits now in his Williams. Mr. Smith is 13th, and we've lost Bunnies. Bunnies is no longer in the race. Bunnies had a disconnect. Mama Sykes is saying, look after your eyes. Yes, Mama Sykes. Yes. I'm trying to. More Cherry, 2nd place. He'll be stopping this lap. So Yax has got a long way to go, actually, until he stops. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. So he's quite happily going along right now. More Cherry in second will be stopping this lap. Leonardo into the pits then is his Ferrari. Matt Psycho goes up into third place in his Tyrrell. So the Tyrrell up into third. Aloe in fourth. The gap between him and Matt Psycho about 9 seconds, so a big gap for somebody to drop into the middle of, I suspect, after these pit stops. 10 seconds between Morcherry and Matt Psycho, and about 5 seconds between Yax and Morcherry. So they're all feeding out as we see the Punisher going through the S's at the beginning of the lap. He's got the virtual race leader, Ajax, in sixth. But it's going to be interesting to see what the gap is between Ajax and Yax when Yax makes his stop. Yax has got clear air. He's not stopping for a long time. So through turn number 9 goes the Mercedes. Can he do what George Russell did in Las Vegas? Bring victory in America for the Mercedes team. Morcherry into the pits then. The Lotus is in. Matt Psycho will be in for his stop too. Aloe is going to go another few laps, I suspect, based on his fuel, but his tyres might be saying, please, please, Mr. Aloe, please let us stop. He's stopping with lots of fuel. He's got 20% of his fuel left as the Punisher has the attentions of Ajax. Ajax will see the Punisher going into the pits. Off he goes. Very tricky pit entry here at Watkins Glen as well. It just seems to spit you out. So the gap between Ajax and Yax is massive. It's 35 seconds. Pit stop here. Ooh, could be the deciding factor. Yax's tyre on the left front not looking happy. Gasman's up into third now, so Gasman into third place. He's got Morcherry behind him after his stop, so Morcherry feeding out behind the Ferrari and ahead of Leonardo's Ferrari. Leonardo did not change tyres on his previous lap. As in the background we can see Slenderfella having a look with Mr. Smith. I thought that was a battle between Slenderfella and Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho then having a look at his Tyrrell teammates. Tyrrell as they go through down the chute, but it's at the front of the field. We can see Yax's Mercedes getting new tyres, new set of softs and fuel to finish the race, and Ajax in the Mercedes powered McLaren. What will happen here? Where will they feed out? Yax is already moving, but it is a very, very slow pit exit here at Watkins Glen. So Ajax coming down the home straight. He's going to overtake Yax. He sets his fastest lap of the race as well, 24.7, as you can see Yax coming out the pits, and there, just ahead of him, is Ajax in the McLaren. So the gap between them, it is probably about 4 seconds. It was 10 seconds before the pit stop. Yax has pulled out 6 seconds on his rival and will chase him down now for the victory. He's got fresher tyres, having stopped only 2 laps later than his rival, but they'll be fresher. Gasman, he is under pressure from Morcherry. Morcherry holding a lot more speed through the chicane. He's on the softs compared to the old mediums of Gasman. So Morcherry looking for his first podium here in Formula X, the Super Formula cars, but it's Formula X as we call it here in SNL. 2 seconds between the two drivers. Leonardo has got the attention of Ragimus Prime. He's primed and ready to go for 5th. Not happening right at this moment. So Ragimus 6th place. He's got Slenderfella 7th, Matt Psycho in 8th. So Matt Psycho is in 8th. And the gap is about 20 seconds between the top 8. That is crazy. see Matt Psycho just cross the line. In fact, let's watch Aloy go across the line and we'll see the gap between him and the driver in first place, which is Ajax. So the gap between them is 23 seconds. 23 seconds between the top 9 in this race. In fact, the Punisher's about 10 seconds off the back of Aloy. Bondemus in 11th now on his hard tyres. Another strong race at the beginning for Bondemus, but the tyres just taking it away from him now. Daz on his debut for this season in the Renault is currently 12th, ahead of Mr. Smith in the Tyrrell. Mr. Smith getting lapped. The gap between the top 2 though, it is around a second and a half. Go on board with Yax. You can see the McLaren ahead. Touching difference between the 2 Mercedes powered machines. Go and look at the gap between Gazman and Morcherry. A similar sort of gap, I would say. Yes, about second between these 2 as well. And behind them, Leonardo has got Ragemus and Slenderfella for company. These 3 very closely matched. So all of a sudden, this race is closing up everywhere for all of the drivers. So Ajax, he's been lonely throughout the race. He'll be wishing he was still lonely. Did a 24.7 on his last lap, but Yax did a 24.3, which was just 0.02 of a second off fastest lap of the race. So Yax really putting the pressure on, running wide out of the corner, using all the curb and a little bit more. Ajax keeping that McLaren ahead. Have a look behind, because Gazman has got the attentions of Morcherry. Morcherry, he's got a lot of overtake compared to Gazman as well. Gazman has the red light above his head, whilst Morcherry has a green light. That shows that Morcherry has 25% or more of his overtake left to use. So he is pushing hard, is Morcherry. Gazman in third. Got the pressure on, just pop to the front of the field. No, it's not happening on this lap, but Gazman has got a lot of pressure on. He's got Morcherry right behind him as they go through turn 1. There won't be anything doing unless Morcherry gets a good run. He doesn't get an over advantage against the Ferrari, but he is pushing hard. He'll be in a great opportunity. He might go for the overtake now. Yes, he does, as they go side by side down the back straight, and it's Morcherry ahead of Gazman's Ferrari, and he makes the move to third on lap number 27. Morcherry in the Lotus ahead of the Scuderia. Enzo Ferrari will be saying, "Mamma mia, Gazman, what are you doing? Letting a garagista get ahead of us." Ugh. Sunglasses will be firmly on. So Morcherry up into third place, Gazman in fourth. Still not looking bad for his championship. Good, consistent results. That's how he won the championship last season, consistency. Leonardo in fifth place, Ferrari fourth and fifth. Mr. Ferrari would be happy with that in terms of the championship standings. They would close up on McLaren. Slenderfella, sixth place. 26.1 for him. He got ahead of Ragemus on the last lap. 28.4 for Ragemus. Matt Psycho on 26.7. He's bringing Aloy with him. 25.3 for Aloy. And Punisher in 10th place. That 10th place for the Punisher. He's been hunting for one all season. Top 10. If you finish in the top 10, you are doing well here in SNL. But at the front of the field, it is Ajax. Feeling the pressure now of Yax. Yax all over the back of the McLaren as they go down the chute into turn number 6. Keeping it tight. Turn 7, the toe coming up, and maybe an opportunity as Ajax driver is looking behind him as he turns right who's looking in the left mirror, feeling the pressure from Yax. Yax all over the grass. In the Mercedes, we have got just over 4 and a bit laps left, 4 and a quarter laps left of the race. Ajax, though, he's pulled a bit of a gap. Yax dropping a bit on this lap. So that gap really, really close. We can see Slenderfella, though. He's got Leonardo in his eyes for his next move. Leonardo currently in 5th. Those medium tyres, though, are not happy. A bit like his connection, faltering. Slenderfella then, 6th place. On board with the Red Bull. We have not seen much of him this season. He did star in the early rounds at Brands Hatch. Since then, it's been a long, hard season for Slenderfella. He's usually fighting for podiums. He's currently in 6th place. He's ahead of Ragemus Prime's Williams, who's got Matt Psycho and a Lowy behind him. We'll go on board again with this Renault. We seem to have seen this pink helmet quite a bit this race. But a Lowy, he's in the slipstream. Will he have a go on Matt Psycho? Going down towards the chicane. Be a brave move. No, nothing doing for the Renault as they all bunch up once more at the front of the field then. Ajax, he's pulled away a little bit over Yax. Yax at 25.9, 25.1 for Ajax. Yax pushing hard, but can he do anything about Ajax? Ajax won at Monza with no tyre changes. He's done 1 tyre change this race. So we got Yax currently in 2nd. Keeping the pressure on. 3 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. Morcherry has dropped Gasman. 24.7 for his last lap, but 25.2 for Gasman. So it's about half a second a lap, and it starts to become 4 seconds very quickly. Leonardo, though, still holding 5th. Running out wide, though, in turn 1. He's got Slenderfella right behind him. With Ragemus in 7th. Matt Psycho in 8th. He's still got the attention of the Lowy. Directly behind him, the Renault driver. Will we see a move then? As we look up ahead, there's a fight. Matt Psycho losing the position, though, to... Oh, wow. How on earth he didn't lose the position, I do not know. Let's have a look between Leonardo and Slenderfella as they go towards turn 7. Slenderfella all over the back of this Ferrari as the toe, turn 7, approaches. Nothing doing as of yet, but the boot is where they are, climbing it towards the heel, turn number 8. A great opportunity to overtake if you can get alongside, but nothing happening for them. That Psycho still defending the position between Aloe. Let's go back to the front of the field because 2 laps to go. Ajax still leading. He's just covering Yax. 3/10 of a second there on that lap. Yax is trying to get that McLaren. McLaren feeling the pressure, sets his personal best through sector 1. Yax really pushing hard in that Mercedes. The gap between them, well, it's less than a second, maybe half a second around this tight, twisty circuit. Leonardo has the attentions of Slenderfella, who's also got the attentions of Ragemus. So these battles, they're slowing them up by about 2 seconds a lap. Ragemus all of a sudden can see 5th place appear up ahead of him. Can he get it? Leonardo runs wide. That means Slenderfella moves up into 5th place. Leonardo through the chute, turn 6. Then Prime is ready. Ragemus going for it. He wants 6th place into turn 7. And he gets it on the exit. So he gets the position against Leonardo. Leonardo then under pressure from Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho has a little bit of a kinky look. out of the hill, and he does. Matt Psycho goes up into 7th place, and does Leonardo drops from 5th to 9th in the matter of half a lap. Oh my word, the Greek will be cursing. These tyres, they've completely gone, and he's lost all those positions on the penultimate lap. At the front of the field, though, Ajax is up in 1st place, and it looks like the gap is going to stay there because Ajax set the same lap time, given 5 thousandths of a second between these two on the last lap, lap 31, where they're going through the toe for the final time, up the boot towards the heel. Yax kicking up the dirt because he's chasing down Ajax. Ajax fuel is marginal, to say the least, through the heel for the final time towards number 9. These two are very close. The fuel for Ajax is unbelievably short. Turn 10, he's got one final corner. And it's going to be win number 2 of the season for Ajax. He wins here at... Oh, he slowed down. Wow, I think he ran out of fuel. Ajax first, Yak second. Morcherry, an impressive third and fastest lap as well for Morcherry, 24.2. For the Lotus driver, 4th place will be Gasman in the Ferrari. Slenderfella will be 5th. You can see Ragemus sliding it out of turn 9. So Slenderfella is in 5th place in his Red Bull. Crossing the line ahead of the very tight Ragemus 6th, Matt Psycho 7th, Aloe 8th, Leonardo dropping down at the end with those laps. The tyres just went on him at the end of this race. He finishes in 9th place. The Punisher will finish in 10th and sets his best lap of the race on the last lap. Bondimus will finish in 11th place. It's very tight, with Daz finishing on his return in 12th place. We did lose Mr. Smith in the end, who had a lot of issues with traffic, but it was the winner of race number 3 that won round number 4. Ajax, back-to-back victories in the McLaren. He wins at Watkins Glen, and it means he could be on the verge of his first title in SNL. I'll go through the standings before the final round at Interlagos next week at the end of the run-through. 2nd place was Yax. He challenged all the way to the finish in the Mercedes. In 3rd place was the very impressive Morcherry. He started down the grid in 11th place, finishes 3rd, and had fastest lap as well, 24.2. Towards the end, pushing towards those leaders. 4th place was Gasman in the Ferrari. So he is in contention still for that title. 5th place was Slenderfella in the Red Bull. In 6th place was Ragemus in the Williams. Great battles throughout this field because Matt Psycho there in 7th place in the Tyrrell. He had an exciting one with Aloe in 8th. These 4 so closely positioned. Leonardo, he was in 5th place until 2 laps to go, and then that left front tyre just said enough. He finishes 9th in the Ferrari. 10th place was the Punisher in the Red Bull. 11th was Bondimus Prime in the Williams, and 12th place on his return was Daz in the Renault. So we had a DNF, or disconnect, should I say, from Bunnies. He will get disconnect points. A DNF from Jam, who will not get points because of when he came off. But a DNF from Mr. Smith, he will get DNF points because he did 75% of the race, I suspect. But we'll get that confirmed by the stewards. Now, these standings are all provisional. But Ajax goes into the final round with 101 points. He has a gap of 16 points to the defending champion Gasman. Then the gap to Ragemus is 28 points. So Ragemus has to win, and Ajax has to not finish as well as... Ragemus has to win, and Ajax cannot turn up for Ragemus to win the championship in this standings, as it is, from what I can see. He's got 73 points. So 28 points behind Ajax provisionally. So Ajax on the cusp of the championship as we go to Interlagos, but Gazman fought back in season number 8 to win the championship from nowhere at Fuji last season. So can he do the same and defend his championship for the Scuderia, or will it be Ajax with his first ever title in SNL in the team championship? It is an 18-point gap between McLaren and Ferrari. So it is McLaren versus Ferrari at Interlagos for both championships. Join us next week for round number 5 of this season 9. Remember to like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I've forgotten to say that all the way through. Bad YouTuber. I am sacked. Join us next week for round number 5.